This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert with our Friday 5, the 5 big things you need to know going into the weekend. Item number 5 is Israel. Iran trying to drive that wedge between the U.S. and Israel. A story Wednesday published by Fox News and later retracted. Shocking story. Fox reported that a secret delegation of American diplomats traveled to Tehran last week to tell the Iranian regime that the United States had nothing to do with Israel's presumed assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran on July 31st. And to build trust with the Iranians, the American delegation reportedly gave Iran the names of 10 Mossad agents. The Mossad is Israel's intelligence agency, who were believed to be in Iran and had something to do with the assassination of Haniyeh. Now again, Fox withdrew that story later because it was based on a report in a Kuwaiti news agency, that Kuwaiti newspaper known to have published disinformation in the past. The United States government has denied the story. My take on it is this, that this probably was planted by the Iranians trying to drive a wedge between the U.S. and Israel. That said, if the story was true, and I don't believe it is, but had it been true, it would not have been the first time that American intelligence agencies had betrayed Israeli secrets trying to curry favor with Islamic regimes in the Middle East over the last 75 years. Just saying. Meanwhile, an interesting story from Gaza, where Hamas has blasted the Palestinian Authority for cooperating with Israeli security services. Palestinian Authority forces detonated an explosive device in the city of Jenin Wednesday. It was probably meant to injure or kill Israeli troops. The Hamas statement reads, and I quote, "The continued work of the PA's security apparatus in the West Bank against the resistance of our people and its escalating campaign to pursue the fighters of the resistance, confiscate their weapons, and dismantle explosive devices and ambushes set up to strike the IDF during its continued incursions into the West Bank are in perfect accordance with the Zionist occupation," end quote. Hamas accusing Fatah, the Palestinian Authority, of collaborating with the Zionist occupation, meaning Israel. Doesn't sound like Hamas wants a ceasefire. Item number 4, Ukraine. Ukraine mounted a sneak attack into Russia on August 6th. This is ongoing. Russia is scrambling to try to respond to it. So far, Ukrainian forces have captured about 400 square miles near the city of Kursk. It's not clear what Ukraine is trying to do with this attack, although we note that there is a nuclear power plant in Kursk, the 3rd largest in Russia, 4th largest generator of electricity in Russia. That may be the target. They're not quite there yet. And although this is being trumpeted as a major reversal of fortunes for the Ukrainian military by, well, neocons and Ukrainian military bloggers, it really doesn't change the situation on the ground. When you look at the map here, everything from here to the yellow, that's what Russia captured since last February in this war. What Ukraine has captured is this little blue area outside the thick black line. Again, all things considered, this appears to be Ukraine's Battle of the Bulge moment. Battle of the Bulge, of course, Germany's last gasp in World War II, where they managed to punch a hole in Allied lines for a while, but superior numbers and numbers of men and weaponry eventually won the day, and Russia still has those on its side. Topic number 3, the economy. Told you this week, the economy not doing great. U.S. consumers have hit a record for credit card debt, $1.14 trillion. Over the last year, some 60% of us have used credit cards to buy groceries. That's a vicious cycle to get on, especially when credit card interest rates have hit an all-time record high of about 24% on average. Kamala Harris reportedly set to announce a policy, and this time like her own policy and not one that she's lifted from the Trump campaign, like her pledge to stop income taxes on tips for waiters and waitresses and stuff, which Trump had proposed earlier this year, bearing in mind that Harris and Biden pushed through the legislation to give the IRS power to track tips last February. Now she's reversing that like many other policies. I digress. Anyway, this policy she's set to announce today in North Carolina takes aim at inflation by imposing price controls. She's going to call on Congress to pass a federal ban on price gouging. That is an undefined term that can mean different things to different people, as part of an economic platform to lower grocery prices and everyday costs. In addition to her push for what the media is calling the first ever ban on price gouging, she would reportedly also direct the Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general to investigate and levy penalties on food companies that violate the federal ban. Now, this being called a first ever federal ban on price gouging by food companies ignores history. I'm old enough to remember the price controls under President Nixon. They didn't work. Price controls never work. They have never worked anywhere they've ever been tried. What they do is they compel producers to stop producing things where the profit margin is not great. If I can't charge enough to make money, I'll just stop making this thing. That leads to shortages. The problem is not companies gouging. The problem is too much money in circulation. The Inflation Reduction Act, like most major legislation passed by Congress, did exactly the opposite of its name. You put more money in circulation, each individual dollar is worth less. It's simple. Law of supply and demand. It applies to money as much as anything else. This is outright socialism. Again, if you thought that waiting in line for toilet paper during the pandemic was something, just wait. If they impose price controls, we'll see that on lots of stuff at the store. Topic number 2, great replacement. I'm risking getting deplatformed by even mentioning this, but when the New York Times is writing about it like it's a real thing, everybody knows it, and hey, because it's helping Democrats, it's a good thing. I'm hoping that I'm safe in talking about this here. You see, the Great Replacement is the name of a theory that implies a great societal shift being implemented by our political class, welcoming in large numbers of immigrants who don't share our history, our values, even our religion, and using those to replace, well, the people who've lived here for generations, sometimes centuries. Even mentioning this idea was enough to get you deplatformed just a couple of years ago. But now the New York Times, publishing a story Wednesday on America's border crisis, they reported, and I quote, "The federal government is processing citizenship requests at the fastest clip in a decade, moving rapidly through a backlog that built up during the Trump administration and the coronavirus pandemic," end quote. And then the paper cited an analyst, an expert, who said the quiet part out loud. Xiao Wang, chief executive of a company called Boundless, they do data analysis, he said, and I quote, "The surge in naturalization efficiency isn't just about clearing backlogs. It's potentially reshaping the electorate merely months before a pivotal election. Every citizenship application could be a vote that decides Senate seats or even the presidency," end quote. Yeah, exactly. Some 3.3 million immigrants have become citizens since Joe Biden took office, and more of them, according to surveys, will vote Democrat than Republican. But it's more than just that. You see, even immigrants who don't vote, if they're here illegally and they don't vote, they are still counted in the census, which means when the House of Representatives are reapportioned come 2030 with the new census, states that are taking in new arrivals to replace people who are fleeing those badly run red or blue states like California, New York, Illinois, they will retain or perhaps gain their seats in the House of Representatives, meaning more Congress people voting Democrat. That's what this is all about. Coming up, driverless traffic jam in San Francisco. And it's keeping people awake all night long. That's next on the Friday Five.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can easily and conveniently stream this incredible new film, Void Earth Cataclysm Before Genesis, right now at skywatchtv.com/stream or on the mobile app for immediate access. However, if you'd like to receive your own hard copy on DVD, Skywatch TV is proud to announce the Void Earth Ultra Collection. When you order this exclusive collection from the Skywatch TV store, you'll receive the brand new documentary from Defender Investigative Films' Void Earth: Cataclysm Before Genesis, along with Dr. Thomas Horn and Reverend Donna Howell's best-selling book, Before Genesis, The Unauthorized History of Tohu, Bohu, and the Chaos Dragon in the Land Before Time. These powerful works present astounding revelations like no other, taken directly from the Word of God, the conclusion to the events of Genesis that merges all contributing voices from not only the young and old creationist groups, but the scientific community as well into one balanced and agreeable climax. They reveal precisely how ancient archaeological sites like Göbekli Tepe and the Doorway of the Serpent point irrefutably to an intelligent race of beings here on Earth thriving before the time of Adam and under Lucifer's fallen dominion. They pull back the veil on exactly what the Earth was like during the without form and void era of Genesis 1-2, and so much more, featuring Dr. Michael Lake, Derek Gilbert, Reverend Donna Howell, Gary Stearman, and the late Dr. Thomas Horn in what would become his last documentary appearance ever. But that's not all. You'll also receive 315, The Genesis of All Prophecy by the legendary Rabbi Eric Walker. This prophetic, convicting, and heart-rending book exposes anti-Semitism as Satan's plan to eliminate the Jews and the catastrophic consequences the world will face if this agenda succeeds. Sold separately, all of these items hold a retail value of $75. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Void Earth Ultra Collection now.
Item number 1 today, AI is great except when it's keeping you awake all night. Driverless traffic jams causing citizens sleepless nights. Waymo, that's a company that's running Robotaxis, driverless taxis in San Francisco, they have started honking excessively. Not on the streets, but in the parking lots as they try to compete with one another for spaces to park when they're offline. A resident of San Francisco's South of Market neighborhood complains that these robotaxis are making noise all night long. When they get in one another's way, they start honking. Part of their programming. Get out of my way. The other taxi honks back. No, you get out of my way. Residents telling local news channels, at first we thought it was funny, but it's not funny anymore. It's happening at 4 a.m. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been woken up more times overnight than I have combined over 20 years. Waymo told the Los Angeles Times that it's aware of some scenarios our vehicles may briefly honk while navigating our parking lots. One resident telling the LA Times, yeah, if by briefly they mean multiple times per day at all hours of the day and night, then yes, it's briefly. I guess we don't have to worry about our robot overlords taking over just yet. This week on Skywatch TV, our 4th week in the series about the new documentary film from Defender Investigative Films, Void Earth. What did it mean when the Bible said the earth was formless and void? The Hebrew actually means became or was made formless and void. And that phrase in Hebrew, tohu wabohu, formless and void, implies God's judgment, as though he had to put a stop to something, and this all before Eden. And then on top of that, how do we factor the dinosaurs into any and all of this? Donna Howell and Dr. Michael Lake, both of whom are featured in the documentary, join us on the panel. I was honored to host it, standing in for Joe Horn while he and the team from Whispering Ponies Ranch were volunteering at other camps for children at risk in the area. You can watch it right now, along with the 3 previous programs at our website, skywatchtv.com. You can find all of our video content there all the time. You can also watch it right now over the air. Our broadcast schedule is posted, skywatchtv.com/channels. You can watch it on a set-top box, Apple TV, Roku, and now Fire TV. Need to add that logo up there. If you've got a set-top box, or if you've got a Roku TV, a Fire TV, go to the App Store. Add the Skywatch TV channel. It bypasses the gatekeepers of big tech, just like our mobile app, which brings all of our video content right into your smartphone or tablet, with added features like the mobile app's got a tab where you can go right to our streaming site, skywatchtv.com/stream, where you can watch Void Earth right now. Instant access, full HD, all of that right in the palm of your hand, and you can cast video from the app to your smart TV using Google's Chromecast or Apple's AirPlay. We've got apps available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets. Links to their app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. Follow 5 in 10 online for latest news updates. X, formerly Twitter, at 5_in_10, or YouTube at 5 in 10. And thank you for watching as we keep watch. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Derek Gilbert. Have a blessed weekend. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.